Welcome to episode 12, Man Who Thinks. This is an episode on what I learned by studying stage design of EDM music and EDM concerts and all the sort. It's very simple, actually. The human mind is no different than nature. I've been to Vegas, and the funny thing about Vegas is that it's all indoors, and the functionality and the way that the design is set up is not, in my eyes, meant for the enjoyment of the people, but instead for the photography or for the sound. Often when I watch a video and there's like a DJ who's performing, they'll have a remark about the way that the sound is or the way that the distance between the decks and the crowd is or the height. What I've learned by listening to all this and studying it and realizing that some of the best sets are often in very organic settings like a jungle or under a bridge or in front of a volcano. It can all say one thing, or it can all mean one thing. The connection that you're going to have with the music is only as relative as the person has with themselves, first, and second, that they have with nature. So, a lot of the people, for example, like the Brazilians, they're very adept to not really caring about anyone else but themselves, which is a good thing because they're not going to care about much. They're going to put all their effort into the performance and the energy that they have and the energy that they're going to display to you, just in the same way that they're not going to care about what people think about their dance moves or what they're wearing or how they act. So the Brazilians have it pretty much to the T, where when they're performing somewhere, they're bringing, they're the stage. And the only reason that the event is even happening is through the pure uncontrollable essence of life. They're essentially only going to perform at places where their energy is personified. It's because they know themselves that way. For the artists that don't completely know themselves that way and have etched out a space in their brain for having the remarks that the stage this or the stage that, they're going to get a completely different can of corn. So, okay, so what does any of this mean? Why does this matter? Anyways, the stage design in itself is a direct correlation to how the individual themselves is as a person. The stage is going to be in a forest because the people that decide to have the festival and the people that are going to be performing at that festival all have that same mindset. People that have never performed or thought about performing in a forest don't completely understand that part of themselves. What this also is a giant case study in the regard of everyone can perform in a forest. Everyone can perform under a bridge. Everyone can perform in a old shipping container. But does everyone do all those things? The limitations we put within ourselves are a direct correlation to the limitations that people are going to have in regard to expanding their own reach, performing new music, being in front of different crowds. It's very simple. I've been studying this for the last what is it, 5 years? Mm, mm, when did I go to Snow Globe? 2016, 17? For the last 10 years, I've been studying the ins and the outs of what a festival could be, the stage design, the setup of that same stage, where it is in relation to like the sunrise and the sunset, what people are wearing. There's so many metrics that go into this that's why it's enjoyable for me to even care about. The languages that people are going to speak, the correlation at where the alcohol is, the correlation to where the entrance is. It all matters. The Yuma, for example, is a great case study where they know that there's the outdoors. They know that the outdoors is irrelevant to the people that are performing in the Yuma because the Yuma exists as a nightclub inside of a polo ground festival themed set festival place to perform. And that's where for me it became very interesting because especially when it comes to the sound, you can only get a nightclub sound setting inside of the Yuma. Otherwise, you're just open air performing on the outdoor stage. Not really the same feel. You can have a closed structure, sure, but that's not the same reason why you're performing. Where else have I been that's like a really good? I think it's 1015 Folsom. That's a place that can get down, but it's also a closed venue. So the stage design there is much more intimate. It's much more personable. I'd say too the biggest thing with stage and sound design is with EDM specifically, you have a connection that's outside of the lyrics and the words of a song. You have the connection of drum and bass, you have the connection to lights, you have the connection to the actual artists themselves. And again, going back to the Brazilians are in it of themselves characters. They're complete one off type people. You can't replicate a Brazilian person. But traditionally enough, you can replicate plenty of other people from other parts of the world. So to recap, the effort that goes into setting up a stage and setting up a festival is directly correlated to how that person would set up their own lives, which is also directly correlated to how much they know about themselves. So, in essence, in theory, the more someone knows about themselves, the more metrics they'll have at their disposal to amplify a festival, which in essence will mean a completely different experience for the festival goers because there's no guarantee that the festival people who buy tickets know themselves to the same magnitude as the festival. What do you call those people? A&Rs, directors, managers. So yeah, for those that are listening to this and they want to set up a festival, you should definitely go consult with the people that do yoga and things like that and are the quote unquote contrarians of the world because you're going to get a completely different reason to do things that are going to bring a completely different type of people and a completely different type of energy. And it'll be fun because then the content's going to be completely different and the way that the DJs are going to perform is going to be completely different. And you have a standout festival that way. So that's episode, what was that, 12? The next one's going to be on Take Care. All the best.